Hello, in this video we are going to learn how to analyze quadratic functions. To do this we are going to use what is called the discriminant. The discriminant helps us determine the types of solutions of the function, meaning do we have two real solutions, do we have one real solution, or do we have two imaginary solutions? To achieve this, we're going to use the portion of the quadratic formula, not function, underneath the radical. So let's review the quadratic formula. Negative b, plus or minus square root, b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4ac, all over 2a. Now the portion that we're going to use, remember, is only the part underneath the radical. So the b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4ac. Now, when you calculate this number, if the number is positive, meaning greater than 0, you're going to have two real solutions. If you get a number smaller than 0 or a negative number, you're going to have two imaginary solutions. If you get an actual 0, then you're going to have one real solution. So let's look at an example. We're going to use the discriminant to determine the types of solutions for the function negative 4x squared plus 3x minus 1 equals 0. Now, just like with the quadratic formula and with factoring, your function must be equal to 0. This one already is, but if it wasn't, then we would have to manipulate the function to make it equal to 0. Remember, your discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Now, to use the discriminant, we must know what our a, b, and c are. A is always with x squared, which is negative 4. B is 3 because it's always with x. And c is always by itself, which in this case is negative 1. Now we're going to plug it into the discriminant. B squared, so that's going to be 3 squared, minus 4 times a, and a is negative 4, times c, which is negative 1. I'm going to plug all of this in my calculator at one time, including the parentheses, because, guys, like sometimes if you have a negative number in the wrong place and you don't put in parentheses, it will mess up your answer. So go ahead and have a good practice of always including parentheses. So it'll end up being, if you were to do it mentally, 3 squared is 9. And then you have negative 4 times negative 4, which is a positive 16, times a negative 1, which is a negative 16. So 9 minus 16 is negative 7. Now, negative 7, is it greater than 0, less than 0, or equal to 0? It's negative, which means it's less than 0. In turn, that means that we have two imaginary solutions. Let's look at one more example. This time our function is 2x squared minus 6x minus 2 equals 0. This function is also already equal to 0. If it wasn't, then we would need to fix that. And remember, our discriminant is a b squared minus 4ac. So let's label our a, b, and c. A is always with x squared, which in this case is 2. B is always with x, which is negative 6. And c is always by itself, which is negative 2. Now we're going to plug it into the discriminant, b squared. Our b is negative 6. That's a little off. Oh well. Minus 4 times a, and a is 2, times c, which is negative 2. Plugging all of this in my calculator at one time, I know that negative 6 squared, a negative times a negative, is a positive, which is 36. If you were not to put the parentheses around negative 6, you would get negative 36, and you would get a totally different answer from us, making your final answer incorrect. So 36. Now we have a negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8, times negative 2, which is, I said negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. So we have 36 plus 18. If you wouldn't have put negative 6 in parentheses, you would have gotten negative 36 plus 18, giving you a totally different answer. So D is 52. Since 52 is positive, we know that it's greater than 0, which means that we're going to have two real solutions. So that is how you use the discriminant to determine the types of solutions for a quadratic function.